Pepe has seen a big drop here on this chart. Take a look at this on the daily chart. From our high down to our current price, Pepe is down by 40%, and unfortunately it kind of looks like my notes as a result of that are invalid because Pepe has been moving too quickly. But here's the deal with Pepe, right? Let's break this down and kind of understand exactly the situation Pepe's in. This has happened quite a lot. Pepe does this. It'll rally up by ridiculously large amounts, and then it'll see absolutely huge, heinous sell-offs, but it's kind of okay because this coin has a lot of bullish traction. I'm not sure if it's actually been listed on Binance yet, but I don't think it has. Oh, it has been listed on Binance, so that might be one of the reasons that we've seen the dump now, because a lot of the time with things like this, what we're going to have is a big run-up to the event, but after the news event actually happens, people don't really have a reason to be hyped up anymore, so in this case, it was the Binance listing, and then Pepe starts dropping. But what we need to pay attention to is the longer term chart here and just the possibilities. We had a 246% leg up here. We had a 180% leg up here, 100% leg up over here. And if we just kind of follow what happened last time, then, we could drop down by a little bit, but we'll just end up kind of consolidating sideways and then breaking up higher again, continuing to set brand new highs. And that is still definitely possible for Pepe, but it's got this one crucial issue over its head that I've been outlining for you guys constantly, which is that as it rises up, it does not establish any resistance. And that's why, and I said the exact same thing to you just yesterday, so I'm so glad that we've actually seen it happen. The thing about this, guys, and I want you to keep this in mind for anyone on YouTube, Twitter, whatever, is that when you're analyzing, especially when you're analyzing a coin like Pepe, you can't actually say when it's going to top. It's just so irrational that there isn't any technical analysis that can tell you, okay, Pepe is probably going to top out right here, right? There's just other than it being a round number, it's a 450,000 micro dollars or whatever the fuck you call them, I don't know, and because it's a round psychological number, I guess you could use that as, but why 45 and why not 50? Why not 10? Why not, you know what I mean? So it's really hard to say when it might top, but what's quite easy is to just kind of watch it and be like, all right, I know something like this is going to happen. And that's what I was saying to you in yesterday's video. I knew something like this is going to happen, where we're going to top out and it's going to turn into a really catastrophic sell-off really quickly. All right. And this was within 2 hours, this was a third of its value gone. Evaporated. Now, obviously, you don't care about that if you've just turned $100 into $1 million, but I care about that as somebody that's interested in trading Pepe. You guys are going to get over $500 in just straight cash that you can trade. You don't even have to deposit much. I know it's $10,000, but to get a $500 deposit, that's a really, really good ratio. Not everybody has 10k to deposit, I completely understand, but to get this kind of free money is really cool. You can just throw this into the market, which is very, very interesting. But I have to warn you, this is only limited to the first 50 people that take advantage of this. So all you've got to do is deposit 10k using BingX down below, and you can take advantage of this. If you're not interested in that, or if you want this as well, there's over $5,000 of other bonuses that are available for you to claim. But the big thing about this platform that makes it special is that they do not require KYC. You are not going to have to do any KYC, no ID, no selfie that you're going to have to send over just to trade using this platform. And of course, what makes this really cool is that there's no KYC. And of course, you can trade Pepe here. It's obviously one of the trending markets, but you can also trade other markets. And this is where it becomes a lot more fun. You can also trade traditional finance, stocks, commodities, and so on. If I show you where we can find that, that's over in the standard futures, and you'll see right here we've got forex pairs, indices, commodities. So guys, take advantage of this if you're interested. All you've got to do is sign up using my link in the description down below, and you have huge rewards up for grabs as well, and this offer as well, only for the first 50 people. So take advantage of it while you can. The reason I'd be interested in this with BingX is because, look, I missed a train with Pepe. Doesn't matter. I'm not looking to catch trends like this anyway because it's so fucking risky. I like to trade things safer. And for me, the safe approach would be understanding that, look, and I said this in the last video, Pepe is not going to die, right? Like Pepe isn't necessarily going anywhere right now. It's a meme coin, it's a shit coin. They're all kind of in the same camp, but they don't really die in crypto. They do, especially when they get this big. This is kind of like Shiba being born. Like they're just going to stick around and be like mostly irrelevant for the rest of its life. But right now it's got its 5 seconds of fame. And the reason that's a big deal is that if we start to see Pepe drop, and I can't even show it to you on the chart because the chart is so fucked, but we're on a logarithmic scale now, so this is just percentage wise. You know, if we kind of fall down to areas of support like this, it becomes really obvious to go long. And the reason that it's obvious is because there's no support anywhere else, right? Like we've got a weak area of consolidation here, which could turn into support. Generally, places where we consolidate turn into support. And that's why it's important to find resistance on the way up, right? Like the only reason we consolidated here is because we found resistance, right? People were selling. So it's precisely at those areas that we find support, and that's why, again, you know, like when we started to drop, it doesn't look that bad now, but on the linear scale, like when we started to drop, it became such a big drop because we didn't establish any resistance on the way up. Like look at how quickly we just sliced right back down. We fell back down with the same speed that we came up. All right, and that's not a surprise. It's simply happening because this market has not had a chance to establish any support. But it does have support if we go way lower. From our current price, if Pepe drops by a further half, or from its high, if it drops down by 70%, which basically just means it's fucking dead by most standards. But with Pepe, it's just risen up by so much. If it does manage to produce a fall like that, it's going to fall into a pretty good area of support, right? And whether we bounce off at the top of it, at the bottom of it, these are the two areas that we're most likely to bounce off, or in the middle, I don't know. But this looks like a pretty good area of support for Pepe, and if we do end up falling down there, I would definitely be interested in buying it. And the reason that this is exciting for me is because when a coin like this drops by 70%, what's going to happen is all of its holders are going to really panic, right? This is a coin where people have just made overnight fortunes, and obviously they're going to lose them overnight as well. That's how it goes. It's very standard. But before they lose it, they panic. You know, the market starts dropping. We see, you know, a 30% crash within 2 hours. That's going to be a little bit scary. Yes, it's not the first time Pepe has done stuff like that, but you know, Pepe has more people holding it now than it ever did. You know, Pepe has been available on BingX for a while. Yes, BingX is good at listing things early. It's another great reason to check them out. But they just went up on Binance today, right? So, you know, we're getting a situation now where everyone's got their hands on Pepe. You know, if it does start to trigger something that panics people, we're going to see the price drop quickly, right? Because the other thing to keep in mind with Pepe is that this is a coin that people are buying just to make money, right? Nobody is buying Pepe because it has good tech, because it has a good leader, because they have a good vision and a white paper, and they've got VC interest from fucking Silicon Valley. None of that. People are only interested in Pepe because the idiot before them made money with it. So you want to make money with it too. And when we have situations like that, it's actually really easy to trade these markets, because what happens is as soon as the market becomes emotional and scared and rattled, it'll just drop really hard. So what will happen is, like, by here, people will become really bearish, but by here, everyone's capitulating. Everybody's fucked their coins and they don't care, and they're just out. They don't want to hold it anymore. So what happens is we finally approach a support level, right? 70% down from the high, we approach a support level. And this is where it gets really fun, is it actually starts to you know, line up with other cool things like our Fibonacci's. It's not right here, but if we start drawing Fibonacci's with a very, very long-term view, we start to see that these levels actually line up with important levels that we knew you know, would probably have some bearing on the market. Let's take a look at this Fibonacci right here, for example, right from where things really started to get very, very crazy. If we draw it right to the top, we don't have anything significant off this level. Let's take a look at it right here. This is where things do start to really amp up. We've got the 786 level right here, for example, right? The rally has just been so crazy, but what we do start to see is that we've got important Fibonacci levels coming at important levels where the price has responded to already. You know, so while, like, right when people are becoming really scared, right when people are giving up, capitulating, selling all of their holdings, we're hitting support levels, right? And because a coin like this probably isn't going to die, it's probably going to respond well to support levels, right? It might have to fall down to really low support levels, right? It might have to go down, not to here, but maybe even to really low support levels like down here. I don't think that's going to happen. You know, it's too big of a drop, but it could be one of the things that Pepe needs, you know, in order to reset if people do become really scared. So it is something that I want you guys to be keeping in mind in this market right now. And if we do see something like that actually happen, then yeah, you know, you ought to be prepared for it. Like I said in the last video, these support areas are just easy areas to buy a little bit of Pepe, only with, you know, like a really small amount of money, right? I wouldn't be trading this with anything serious because it's not a serious coin. It's too dangerous. I covered this with you yesterday, but the data on top holders for Pepe, by the way, maybe I didn't say this, you've got just off the top of my head, the top 50 wallets for Pepe hold 35% of its supply. Now that includes exchanges, so I don't know what that distribution looks like for other coins, but that is really high. Like, there, you know, I'm only telling you this data to give it to you as a representation of something that we already know, which is that this coin is highly manipulated. It's a meme coin, right? So all meme coins are just made by one guy or one group of people, and they just kind of like hold a fucking huge amount of the supply, you know, and everyone else goes crazy, and then these are the guys that get really rich, right? So, you know, when you're looking at situations like that, it's just quick dumps are possible, you know, because so many people hold so much of the supply, they can just sell it, and they don't care. They've already literally turned zero. Like, you had to put something into Pepe to make money from it. The guys that made it didn't put anything into it. They didn't actually pay to buy any Pepe tokens because they're the ones that created the tokens, right? So it's really easy for them to sell it. It's just digital money to them, right? It's just fucking ones and zeros, nothing, you know. It's not real money. It's very easy to sell it, and again, that's where these things become really exciting as far as the support levels go, because we're going to have to fall down to support levels now. I'm not saying that the bull market is over, you know, for Pepe. I'm sure it's going to keep rallying higher, especially if Bitcoin is bullish, which right now it does look pretty good to me, and I've been covering that with you on the main channel. By the way, if you are watching this Pepe video on the main channel, go to this link in the top of the description right now and watch this video on the 𝗬𝗢𝗥𝗙𝗚 daily channel so that you can get all altcoin analysis videos on time, right when I publish them. You know, this is very time sensitive content. You don't want to be late to be getting information like this. That's just going to put you in a potentially quite bad place, because, for example, Pepe moves really quickly, right? So it's quite important to be subscribed to this channel, to the daily channel, where you get all this content straight away, you know, right when you actually want to be watching it. But yeah, really nice support areas. What I want to talk to you about as well is these kind of parallel channels that Pepe has been trading, and we've formed a few of them now. Here's another one right here. You know, super clear. We've got you know, the market trending up and then just kind of slowly moving down, just forming that staircase pattern before breaking up. Obviously this isn't in play anymore because Pepe has dropped by quite a bit since I made that little chart there, but to be fair, the same pattern still exists, right? We're still kind of in, you know, and you can keep on redrawing this, but we are still in a bit of a parallel channel, and this is pretty good. You know, the last time that we were in one of these patterns, it lasted a day and a half. So far it's a little bit more than a day, you know, and the time before that it lasted 3 days when we formed these patterns. But what's very clear is that when we did form these patterns, whether they were big like this or very small like this, Pepe did move up. So Pepe is continuing to form the same chart patterns that it formed previously that resulted in pumps, and that is something to pay attention to. Also, importantly, what time frame are we on right now in this chart? 1 hour. It's hard to say because this chart's so irrational. The 1 hour Ichimoku cloud was right where Pepe managed to find a big bounce from. So we could be trading into that right now. Let's actually just go ahead and look at the 1 hour Ichimoku cloud and see where it is. Yeah, so we're basically there, to be fair. So we must bounce right now. If we don't, then we're in real fucking trouble, and we've lost the 1 hour Ichimoku cloud, which is, you know, it would be a shame. It wouldn't be the end of the world for Pepe, but it would be a shame because it did help Pepe last time. It would be amazing to see it help it this time as well, but to be honest, it's looking a little bit too late now. 4 hour time frame, we haven't even developed anything. No surprises there. I do want to take a very quick look at the 2 hour. Nothing super important on the 2 hour there, so I don't want to say a whole lot on that. But yeah, you know, support areas, you know, this 171 area, this 127 area, you know, these are the local areas that could end up being useful for Pepe. This is the Fibonacci retracement that I was trying to draw and struggling to draw, by the way, a little bit earlier in the video, so I'm glad I had that drawn in advance. And yeah, you know, super clear to me. You know, Pepe needs to come down to some of its support areas, you know, and I guess the only issue here would be that if we do fall out of this parallel channel, that would be pretty bearish, right? Like, generally we don't fall out of parallel channels. downward sloping trends. You know, we don't fall out of them when we're bullish. Typically we form them only to kind of gear up for that next big leg. But if that next leg actually happens to the downside, that could be what triggers a big drop for Pepe. And that is something that's really important that I wanted to highlight to you guys. Like I told you, this drop is coming. I'm going to tell you again that a really big drop will come for Pepe as well. It'll be very bloody. It'll be quite fucking quite harsh, you know, quite scary to be in, and it's gonna come as a result generally of failing bullish patterns like this. If you fall out of a pattern like this, what starts to happen is, like, one by one, you start forming signs that confirm that the market is bearish. And when that happens, you start to see, again, in markets like this where people are only buying it to make money, well, guess what happens when it looks like it's going to start losing you money, right? Like, everyone's just really quick to sell off. And it was never a coin that had, you know, particularly intense buying pressure anyway. You know, it's only a coin that people don't want to sell because they think it's going to make them money. But as soon as that, you know, kind of vision is gone, you know, you don't care about selling anymore. So that can definitely turn into a problem. And it's something that I think you guys ought to be paying attention to in these markets. Some really nice support areas, but potentially, you know, if we do start falling down, it would be the beginning of something quite big. And it would, right? Like I said, just with this Fibonacci chart, like, even if we fall down to the 786 retracement down here that I showed you earlier in the video, that would be from our current price at the time of this chart. But we're you know, I mean, it would be a 60% drop. Now it's like a 50% drop, right? But it's still a big drop. There's no two ways about it. It's still a big drop down to good support areas, and that is, again, what, like, you know, that's going to make people feel like this chart is dead, and it would only be getting ready for another big leg up potentially. So again, I think this is going to depend on Bitcoin, and I'm bullish on Bitcoin, so I think, you know, Pepe could be in a good place, but I'll continue to watch this and evaluate it and let you guys know what I think. Of course, I want you to be able to take advantage of these beautiful offers available to you guys. Many of you guys who are with me on Bybit have already moved to BingX. So if you are interested in trading on a platform that doesn't ask you for a picture of yourself, that doesn't ask you for a picture of your ID, you know, that you're just not going to have problems with KYC, BingX is your place to be. They've got this very cool offer where you only have to deposit 10K to get $500. I know 10K is a lot of money, but to get $500, that ratio is crazy, and that is limited to just the first 50 people. But you've also, and this is where it's actually quite interesting, you've got over $5,000 in rewards that'll allow you to trade stocks, forex, indices, and commodities. Again, all without KYC. Really cool to be able to have access to these markets without submitting any documents and so on. And again, a lot of you who are on Bybit already have already moved over, so you're good. And if you're still on Bybit, you will have to do KYC within the next 2 days. So make sure that you are prepared and that you're not just waiting for the last minute, because if the market moves and you've waited for the last minute and then you have a problem, you're going to really wish that you weren't so lazy. And I've been in those positions too. So I'm speaking from experience. All right, guys, I really hope you have enjoyed this one. You know exactly what to do. Double check if you are watching this on the main channel that you have subscribed to the 𝗬𝗙𝗧 daily channel so that you get all this content right when it's released. But with that, I really hope you have enjoyed this one. I'm going to be heading off, and I'll see you all in the next video, which will be Ethereum or ARB, I think. So let's go ahead and take a look at that.